Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, back for our second quarterfinal of the day between the Stack and Asura Rage. We'll get those rosters right for you in just a second, just because I like you. Pithy Lagoon here again with the one and only Gems, here for the Stack versus Asura Rage.
And we already see the bands that have gone straight against Scorch. Gideon both can band out both strong heroes. The Stack insta pick that Aurora right off the bat. Leave it open Richter and Rampage as the junglers, but securing their offlaner. What was interesting to see is they didn't go for the Shimby. Shimby is still open as well. They probably don't have a preference on the Shimby. And there is the Grux and Richter coming out from Asura's Rage. Luckily, the Rampage is still up, so they do manage. They'll probably end up securing that right off on their second rotation. There it is. Ivan is going to be very happy to have that. It's probably his most played champion.
I have a feeling you're starting to get a little bit too predictable with these drafts. I mean, seeing as there's relatively few heroes in the game, so we kind of know which direction these teams are going to go. But I think it also is worth noting that we don't see a Shimby just yet from either side.
That's what I was mentioning as well. It's just that Shimby is still up. Neither side have taken it. I mean, they still have it as an option. It's most likely going to be on Asura's Rage's side. However, they might not play it. There might not be a person who plays Shimby on that team, even though it's a strong offlaner. They might not have a preference for it, and that might be why the Stack chose to go for Aurora over Shimby, try and take that away.
We'll have to see what Asura Rage decide to go for here. Already getting some very strong heroes in the Grux and Richter, lots of displacement, of course. We do have Moxplode actually on the roster as the support for them, but it looks like they have found the one and only Booksinker bot to get back on the team. So maybe I'll end up changing that on my roster just to make sense of things.
Also, Wraith is still up as well. We haven't actually spoken about that. So Wraith and Shimby are both still up and both available here. And it's been a bit odd this draft, actually, in terms of that. We see Revenant and Gadget come out. Shimby's still not picked. Wraith's still not picked. They might just not prefer those heroes.
Yeah, they are going for some very strange things, but I have a little bit of faith in Asura Rage. I think they have a pretty good handle on what they want to pick. They're a team that's been around for a while, but I think this is probably one of their stronger rosters to date. And I'm interested to see what they can put on the table with this. The Revenant is something that we haven't really seen too much throughout this PCL, at least something that I haven't seen. But we'll see how UFL decides to play it.
Yeah, there is a little bit of... There is the Wraith. Okay, the Stack has managed to take the Wraith in their last pick. They're going to be quite happy with that. They have a pretty strong composition with Nabash, Rampage, Aurora sort of as their core tank front line, and then Bellica and Wraith with sort of their damage out, the majority of their damage output. However, they don't get the AoE combo, but they do get the Seismic Assault from Bellica. That extra CC is really strong in the early game, which is something they do need. Thunk on Nabash, probably one of the best early game CC tools as well. So with this comp, I'd like to see the Stack maybe go for some early fights. They have Rampage Rock along with the Thunk, which means they're most likely going to win any of sort of the early game engagements in comparison to sort of a smash and grab. Grux doesn't have as much power, and Richter uses a lot of his mana pool early on to take engagements.
Well, we'll see if Asura Rage gets a little bit low on mana in this one. With a steal picked up, I know there's always time for excitement, but it also is time to get into the game. Let's start up in 3, 2, 1, go. Ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between, welcome to our first match of the second quarterfinal bout of the day. It's going to be Asura Rage versus the Stack. Here for Asura on the blue side is going to be Appy playing the Grux. We've got Hi to You playing a Gadget. We've got Ian Fidalgo. He's going to be on the jungle Richter. We've got UFL playing the scary shots guy. He does the shots. That's UFL. On the Revenant. We've got Book Sinkerman then playing the Steel. And if you've ever heard this guy play Steel, a little shout out to the IHLs. He goes ham all the time.
And on the side of the Stack, we've got Malix on the Wraith, Ivan on that Rampage Vision, on the Aurora, Oat Granola, Lovely Breakfast on the Nabash, and then Yosurud on that fella.
Oh, we are going to have the early get back on the mid lane. The EUs love to play this Wraith combo where they get some amount of CC on the other end of it, get a thunk onto the belt, onto the gadget there, and immediately put the aggression out. Also a little bit easier to hit those stuns on some high ping situations.
Yeah, it does force this 2v1 here in the mid lane. Haitu might have a little bit of a rough time. We saw Gideon before struggling against this duo mid. Gadget doesn't have as many escapes, so this might be even tougher. Haitu has to be really safe here. He's probably going to be reliant on using the sticky mines to try to get some last hits and not die.
Just noticed I don't have the in-game timer up for you guys. Nice little homegrown solution for you. So we will get that running as soon as possible. But yeah, early lanes, nice smash and grab onto Yuso Rude by Appy. Offlane Grux is something that you didn't really seem too fond of earlier. How do you think it's going to go for Appy here?
Well, I think it's not going to be too bad because he's managed to get the 1v1 lane. Had he been in a 2v1 lane, this would have been a lot rougher. So they might have anticipated this duo mid coming up from watching previous games and realized they can see Grux here. He might have a slightly safer time. He can get those extra golden.
Ian Fidalgo around the side with the Riplash. They're diving the tower pretty hard. Haven gonna hit the rock onto Ian Fidalgo, and he might have gone a bit too far for it. Now Asura Rage have to run away from the mid lane as Aben is just smacking them out of there. Nice little turnaround and some good positioning from Aben to make sure that that rock went through.
Yeah, it is still a rough lane for Apple Picker, as we were talking before. He is still going to get poked at heavily. However, he's going to have a much greater chance of survival. In a 1v1, he will help. The problem is, Belica's early game damage and CC is very high. Look at his health. He might, if there's another rotation of spells from Yosuru, that might be enough.
Well, the thing is, he's a little bit low on mana right now, so that allows Appy Picker to be a little bit more aggressive here with the last diss. Actually gets the smash and grab out. Is that really something that he wants to go for? Getting a lot of damage on the Yuso Rude dude. But both these heroes now will be quite low on mana. Meanwhile, Yufel getting low. Aben hits the rock. He's going to take the aggro from the tower, and that will be another kill going the way of the stack over on Asura Rage.
It's looking really good here for the stack early game. Couple of kills here. I've been showing that impact that he has on this rampage, and people keep giving him it. And it's by far his preferred hero. No one's been taking it away. And this means that he's just going to go on a rampage. Excuse the horrible pun, but I didn't know what else to say there.
It's okay. This is PCL, the home of horrible puns.
But yeah, he's doing phenomenally on this hero, and a lot of teams haven't been recognizing it, and they just keep giving it to him every game. You might not have to ban it out, but you can pick it earlier in your rotation and take it for yourself.
Ian Fidalgo with another rotation to the backside has the get back used onto him. Can he get the Riplash on Okrnell? Just off the mark with that one. He's supposed to be the guy on better ping, but Okrnell is still able to dance around the Riplash and make sure that he doesn't get pulled out of position there.
Yeah, still fairly okay. It's already a 2.5k, nearly 3k lead here on the side of the stack. They're going to be pretty happy with that sort of early game lead that they've accumulated. Spriking already on the board for Vigan, he's going to be happy with that. It means his lane is now pretty much set for him. The second you get that in the early stages of the game, really tough to kill the Aurora. Two ways to escape. Can regen up a lot of it, and it just is pretty difficult to deal with overall.
Yeah, both offlaners actually picking up their Sprikins at this point, as Appy Picker has his as well. So Yuso Dude, while he can get some good burst down, will find it more difficult to actually take him down. Nice hook by Ian Fidalgo inside the river, trying to get as aggressive as possible as the jungler here, and there's going to be a full surround by Asura Rage. They managed to pick up the jungler inside the river, and they'll also get the amplification buff for themselves as well. Ian Fidalgo getting some mana back from that one. So a nice little rotation, and I would like to say that we've seen some excellent rotations from all of our teams so far in the PCL. It may or may not be version 44 that's making that happen, or just a little bit more experience from the teams. I would say it's probably more experience, honestly.
Yeah, what I do like is that you see Ian Fidalgo go into the jungle and just try to get another kill.
Oh my gosh. It's ridiculous, really. Ian Fidalgo has been hitting so many of these hooks. I may end up loving him pretty soon. Get back using the mid lane on the Book Sinkerman, but again, there's just not enough aggression coming out on the other side of that.
This is our first Richter jungle. He's been playing support for the majority of the day, actually. And we're seeing the power it has here in the jungle. He can just go around, farm up those hooks, provide incredible setup for any other teammates to follow up on. He doesn't have to put himself out of position for a gank, so he doesn't have to go too deep. He can just throw a hook. If it lands, great. If it doesn't, he can just turn around. Unlike other heroes like Rampage, if he throws the rock, has to walk up to follow up, puts himself a little bit in danger of getting counter ganked.
Now they get back onto Ufel. They'll throw a thunk right in his face, but again, there's just hardly any follow-up on this one. So this is where you start to see the Wraith combo really tail off. And also Book Sinkerman is here to help out as well. So 2 heroes against 2 heroes, less of an opportunity to make things happen here on the mid lane.
It is a little bit less, however, Ivan is here with that rock.
Yeah, they're all going to get involved in the fight in the mid lane. Ufel getting quite low. They'll need a little bit more for him. The get back is going to be there, and he has to run right through everything once again. Book Sinkerman can only do so much. Here comes Ian. Actually misses the hook there. Still has the green buff on him, so the aggression will probably stop on the mid lane. Meanwhile, though, Appy versus Yusa Root Dude. Appy will manage to escape the Void Bomb, and Belk will try to make her way around this one. Goes over towards the gold buff. It is there for Appy to pick up, and Yusa Root Dude is just going to leave that out. Appy thinks about going to the low ground, but Aben is already waiting from there, so he wisely decides to stay up on high.
They look like they're getting cut off here.
Yeah, he's going to get cut off, but he does have Ian Fidalgo coming around from the backside, and he'll use the Warrior's Challenge, putting some huge damage on the Yusa Root Dude. Riplash still available. Does Ian Fidalgo get it off here? Oh no, he uses the skewer instead. It only hits on the Aben. Can they get over to Yusa Root Dude? The mana is low here. The health is low for Appy Picker. He's going to be the one to fall as Aben and Yusa Root Dude able to find the kill. Book Sinker though. Book Sinkerman is ready to go. Granola joins the fight as well. Everybody's showing up for this one. It's been going on for long enough. Somebody has to come to shut it down. And eventually, Malix will just run away.
Yeah, Book Sinkerman not level 5 just yet. He does really need that. Gets that dunk active. That would have been pretty huge in terms of being able to take fights. However, it's pretty good positioning from the stack. You saw that fight. It lasted a fairly long time. Yosuru just managing to stay alive, avoid the Riplash, and avoid a couple of the abilities here from Ian Fidalgo, and that was it. That's all you need. That's the issue with Richter, though. If you miss a couple of those high important skill shots, your effectiveness drastically drops.
Still pretty close on the gold right now. Slight advantage going the way of the stack of euros. And that's pretty indicative of this game right now. A lot of these lanes have been fairly even, not much to separate them. We're probably going to have to wait until we get to the Fangtooth, like in most of these matches, until we see any real aggression coming through. Shadowplane buff taken away by Malix on the Wraith, and Okrano will try to make his way out of that one. Is tanky enough and has enough healing as the Narbash to warrant a getaway there. As Asura Rage don't really want to commit too hard onto just a Narbash.
Yeah, he also has that Sprite King along with his extra bonus health regen that he can use. Makes him a pretty difficult target to deal with in the early game without high bursts. So they end up just leaving it. What I'd really like to see is this 1v1 lane with Yosuru and Apple Picker has actually been slowly falling into Apple Picker's favor. Apple Picker's sitting at 9.5k gold, Bellica at 9k, however the level advantage is there.
Ooh. Okay, Book Sinkerman might have wanted to re-aim that shield sim a little bit more. Like you say, Appy Picker is having a lot more of an advantage against the Belg, and I think that's mostly just the fact that he's got so much regen on his side. Yusa Root Dude can put out a lot of damage with the Seismic Assault Void Bomb combo, but she's going to get low on mana pretty quickly in this early game, and Appy Picker doesn't really care. He's got a whole lot of regen on his side.
Yeah, he does, but Ivan is there looking for this fight as well.
Aben throws in the rock, has a green buff, which Appy Picker probably doesn't want to pop right now. Tries to go for the knock-up. They still want to go after this one. Aben with another rock as Appy Picker gets around the side. Book Sinkerman. No shield slam this time around. Will get hit by the rock, but Ufel joins the fight. Doesn't have a whole lot of damage right now as the ADC, but they still want to go on to Aben, who's getting a lot of regen right now. Is this really the kill they want to go for, especially with Okranoa coming around the side? The rock goes out in the Book Sinkerman. There's a thunk as well. Do they have enough damage for this one? They will eventually, as Yusa Root Dude gets the kill.
Lovely sort of retreat coming out from the stack, recognizing they need to back out, and then re-engaging when they saw the option. A lot of teams would just back out and leave it. They saw an opportunity to turn it, even if they had that slight disadvantage at the beginning and get that early kill. With thanks to Ogrenola's brilliant rotation right there, getting that thunk allows them to get that kill, and this might lead into the first Fangtooth of the game as well.
It definitely could. Generally, we've seen teams start to go for the Fangtooth when they get an orange buff on their side. That's kind of been how things work out today. But Malice will just go in with the blue. Vegan trying to go for some zoning. Will get hit by the skewer from Ian Fidalgo. The shield stem comes through. I believe that must have been avoided by Vegan, who used the frozen simulacrum. That's just very unlucky from Book Sinkerbot. Tesla Dome goes down. Beautiful placement from Asura Rage, and Okranola is going to get stuck out onto it, even though the cryocism has gone down already. Ian Fidalgo gets a beautiful pull onto Aben. They will end up getting the knock out to get the kill onto the steal, but man, they're just cleaning house here. Asura Rage taking down 4 for 1, and they'll also have the first Fangtooth of the game to their name.
Yeah, Asura didn't rotate for that, so it is a 4v5 fight that was really messy for the stack. It was looking really good, but they didn't have the advantage that they needed to start that Fangtooth. You saw Ivan take a lot of damage at the beginning. It was about half health before the fight started, and the same could be said for Vigan. He ended up having to force use his cryo system just to, kind of stay alive, and even that wasn't enough.
I want to say that it must have been the excellent placement of the Tesla Dome there. I think that maybe the stack tried to initiate a little bit too hard through it, and that's what ended up in them taking just way too much damage in that fight. You definitely don't want to stand in the Tesla Dome for that long. And they thought they had the damage and the survivability to get through it, but Narbash just doesn't have too many levels at this point in the game, and I think that's what ended up costing them there.
Yeah, and it's the first Raptor, so it gives such a huge gold lead right off the bat just from taking it. You can really see it's about 3k lead now over to the side of Asura's Rage rather than the stack. The stack had a nice lead going in, and one Raptor was what they needed to turn that around.
So Rude Dude versus Happy Picker gets the knock-up, and finally we see this Grux, who's been dominating the lane for so long, finally find the kill onto the Belk, and that should lead to a whole lot of aggression on the tier 1 tower there.
Yep, Vital Waters means that even if Belka uses her entire kit, the amount of regen coming out from Apple Picker means he's going to be at full health fairly soon, and he's relying on auto attacks. He doesn't necessarily need that mana pool to output most of his damage. Whereas you see Asura needing mana, he's going to just run out slowly. So every single trade that happens in that lane will go into Apple Picker's favor.
Asura Rage slowly finding a couple of advantages here and there as this game goes on. Ian Fidalgo, oh man, gotta hit those Rip Lashes. The Funks will go on to try to help the stack get out of here. Crash Bang Boom onto Ufel. He's going to take a lot of damage from this one, especially since he was the lone one underneath the tower, but he does get out before the get back pulls him back in. The rock comes through, and Book Sinkerman doesn't use the shield slam to zone out for Ufel, which is going to lead to him going down. Book Sinkerman will be able to get out through the backside as the Infidalgo and Appy Picker have to try to find something out of this one. Vegan finally joins the fight. He's got the Horfrost keeping Infidalgo there. They need a little bit more damage onto him, but Appy Picker is splitting this one up very nicely. Infidalgo gets the skewer onto Vegan. Who's going to win this one? There has to be another Horfrost. Smash and grab pulls him in, and he manages to get the Aurora kill. Appy Picker may end up getting away with murder here, and he's still going to stay in the fight. He's got so much regen. He's not afraid at all. Haisu makes his way in. Sticky Mine is going to be there. I think they have to disengage, though. Appy Picker says, no, Piff, that's not how things are going to go. I'm going to keep on going, getting the smash and grab on the Aben, and Asura Rage are not afraid at all in these fights.
Yeah, he's doing incredibly well, Apple Picker. He's hit that point in the game where so much regen. He hasn't got the Death Caller just yet, but when he does get that, he's going to be hitting for even more than what he is right now.
Oh my gosh, you have got to be kidding me. Ian Fidalgo gets another hook in the mid lane to pull the double kill for his team, and they'll get a tier 1 tower for it. And guess what? Fangtooth is also up. Kill Fangtooth.
I'd like to look at is that Appy Picker isn't actually going for the Deathcrawler build. He's got 14 points here in Vitality. He's probably going to be grabbing...
Oh, no. They might have just hooked themselves into a cryo. Ufel and Haitu are going to get hit pretty hard with the Void Bomb. Vegan wants to try to steal this one away. He gets the cryo onto 2 heroes, but Book Sinkerman and Ian Fidalgo don't seem to care at all. They've got the Flame of Second. They've got the Raptor for themselves. Fangtooth is going to fall. And here comes finally the Shield Slam that we've been waiting for. Book Sinkerman gets into the fight with a big way. Might end up losing Ufel here, as the stack are definitely going to clean up with Appy Picker still pressuring over on the right side, but Fangtooth did go over to Asura Rage.
Yep, it still sets the stack a little bit. They're still behind in overall gold. 8k gold difference here. However, they will be able to get a couple of objectives here, potentially close the gap a little, take this mid-tier 1, maybe try to deny some of the resources, go into the enemy jungle, take a couple of their camps if possible.
But Appy Picker's here. Appy Picker will do anything this game. He's ready to come in by himself, 3 versus 1. It's a power play for the stack, but Appy Picker really doesn't seem to care. He's going to come in, get the Warriors challenge, but the stack will just disengage, not really care that he wants to fight.
Yeah, it also, like I was mentioning, doesn't look like he's going for the Deathcaller build. He looks like he's going for the Unbroken Spirit with Vital Waters. His item path seems to be saying he's going to grab that. He's holding on to the Zetchin though. Perhaps trying to stack up on the triple Zetchin here so they can try get this Prime, maybe. He might be holding on to it. Instead, okay, he sells Vital Waters for Unbroken Spirit instead, still holding on to the Zetchin, which leads me to believe that they're going to go for the big objective play, secure it really quickly.
Well, with 2 Fangtooths under their belt, if they can get the ward control around the area, you also see him going for the black buff here. I think it might actually be a good call for them to pick up the OP very soon. They want to make sure that the stack doesn't get back into this match at all. Even though they took a pretty good fight around the Fangtooth area, they have to try to take advantage of what they do have, which is the double Fangtooth buff.
Yeah, but they also have 3 Zetchins, which means at about half health on Prime, they can just all 3 trigger at the same time. They've got it. They've got Prime, and there's not much the stack can really do about it unless Ivan gets a really lucky sort of Zetchin of his own.
So they want to try to continue to press their advantage here. We see them setting up around the map, going for mostly a little bit more farm, but Ian Fidalgo does get a little bit deeper here than maybe he wants to. Needs some help from his team. Aurora is here on the high ground, and I think he knows it, but he can't really do too much about it. Appy Picker sees the Rampage inside the jungle, so right now it's just what seems to be a bunch of scouting expeditions for Asura Rage. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Ian Fidalgo with a dirty, dirty hook on the Vegan. Frozen Smolcrum is going to get him to the high ground. You guys will chase him down for a little bit. High to you. At least getting involved onto this. But Vegan's going to stay safe for now. A little bit more difficult than that to take down an Aurora.
Yeah, he's got so many ways of getting away. Neither team really wanting to commit to a fight right now because Fangtooth is spawning. And if there was a fight that didn't go in their favor, that's the Fangtooth going away. And if the stack actually gets a Fangtooth, that's 5k gold for them right off the bat, and they don't want to risk that.
Yeah, it's a risky game right now for the stack for sure, especially since the ping is not going to help them out at all. Appy Picker seems to be ready to go. Ian Fidalgo looking for a dirty hook again. He's been getting them this game. He might be able to hit a big one in just a little bit. They're going to group up, maybe try to push for this tier 2. There's no OP, just 2 Fangtooth buffs on Asura Rage. Do they really want to go for this one? Wraith uses the surprise. Appy Picker will get hit by a rock. Do they go in on this one? Yusaru, dude, uses a seismic assault. Pretty much not near anybody. I guess he wanted to get that on cooldown or something. Aben is going to be the one they initiate onto. Might be a bad idea. Crash Bang Boom in from Okrnol, but it's going to be interrupted by Book Sinkerman. The Skewer also comes down from Ian Fidalgo, but he's taking a whole lot of damage here. Still healing up. Eventually will die to Malix's knock knock. And Aben is ready to open up the door for some more kills. Book Sinkerman caught out in the middle of this one. Smashing Grab is going to pull Yusa Rude Dude away, but it's already 2 kills for the stack, and Asura Rage really have to be careful here. Ufel hit with another get back. That's going to probably be a bonus kill going the way of the stack if Asura Rage aren't careful, and Ufel is backed into a corner. He's going to fall in just a couple seconds. Appy Picker also getting low. You thought this Grux couldn't go down. You thought he had enough regen, but the answer was no. He'll get the smash and grab just before he goes away, and that's going to be the full 5-man team up. The stack coming in big.
Huge fight there. Even with that deficit in gold, they still managed to do really well. Ivan with those rocks, with that engage, just so you can get up so much damage. And this is going to be a 5k gold across the team. it's going to make this gold deficit nearly nothing. Because look at it. They're going to be shooting up to 95k right now with this and give themselves 20 power spread across the whole team. Really strong play from Stack. It makes this even tougher here for Asura's Rage and whatever they want to do. Asura actually just caught out here. Wasn't necessarily needed.
He tried to use the Void Drone to block the hook there, but Ian Fidalgo managed to get it in the nick of time anyway. They're still going after the Velka. Will probably fall here, but it is taking a while. And I believe after this kill, we're going to go for a little bit of a fix on the replay mode, since I do have a couple members bugged out here. So we'll just go ahead and do that real quick. We'll get ourselves to 23:45.
Okay.
All right, you're there?
Yep.
All right, let's start in 3, 2, 1, go. And we are back into it as Asura Rage go right for an OP.
Yeah, there's one guy down. They have a couple of Zechins on the board. This is actually looking really good for Asura's Rage. Like I was mentioning, it's not really a 50-50 purely because of how many Zechins they have.
Yeah, so the OP will get a little bit angry and push them all away, but it should be a pretty easy clear. UFL getting aggressive on the Okrinola, making sure the Narbash stays out of this fight. Vigan comes on in, but the OP still goes over to Asura Rage. Book Sinkerman rather low. Aben getting into the fight. They need to make sure that Book Sinkerman stays alive, and he's still going to be fine even through the cryo. So Smash and Grab is going to pull Rampage still out of the fight. Malix has to make his way out. He's got 3 members of Asura Rage on him, and they will go in with the shield slam. Make sure that the Wraith falls, and now Aben is left completely all on his own here. Appy Picker, Hideu, Ian Fidalgo, Book Sinkerman, and UFL going with a 5-man sweep of that one, taking the OP and having 3 kills for themselves as well.
Yeah, this is the thing. Asura dying there was a pretty big issue for the Stack. They had a 4v5 fight around the Prime against 3 Zechins. And Asura's Rage just took complete advantage of that kill they managed to get. It was not needed. Asura didn't have to die there, and that might have...
Ian Fidalgo gets another hook and puts down the skewer to find another kill onto Yuso Rude, I believe, who is actually still bugged out for me. They'll be able to use that to take down another inhib, and that's the second time this game where this Balka has kind of gotten herself into a bit too much trouble for herself.
Yeah, it ended up costing them that Prime and an inhibitor. And that gold lead, they just worked so hard to crawl back from, has reappeared. 20k lead now on the side of Asura's Rage. They took so many towers and kills off of that. Gonna make it rough now. They're looking for even more. They're looking to try and get the second inhibitor.
It's gonna be so difficult here for the Stack. Ian Fidalgo actually hitting the hook onto a frozen simulacrum there. Look, as soon as Aben initiates there's so much damage going into him, trying to heal up as much of it as possible. Book Sinkerman is gonna make sure that Mouse gets controlled out of it. Okrinola, the first one to fall. Aben's still healing up here, but his ultimate is soon over. Ufel is gonna make his way back on over to him. Smash and grab onto Aben. He's going to fall. Yusuru dude finally gets back in the fight, but his seismic assault misses everything. That's not what you want as a Belka. She gets flung over to the side and killed off mercilessly by Asura Rage. They're ready to take game number 1 of this best of 3, looking to stamp their spot or at least make themselves a little bit closer to getting into the semifinals.
Yeah, it's looking like this is their game to take here. They did really well with that Prime control. They recognize they can take it, and it's led them all the way up to this point. Wait a second, Vision with that cryo.
Yeah, he's just going to fall, though. Does get a nice cryocism, but his team isn't really close enough to make a difference, and Malix is going to see the Obliterate go right over his head, will end up falling, as these minions are eventually going to be relentless going the way of the Stack, and they might want to just throw in the towel on this one and get over to game 2. It's just very difficult to try to win this. Book Sinkerman with a nice shield doesn't manage to keep Ian Fidalgo safe from that rock, but he does just go on in with the shield slam. He's probably yelling on the comms right now. Aben trying to fight with that ultimate up. Ufel reloading the gun, giving him a little bit more breathing room, but it's just so difficult right now for the Stack to make anything happen. But they do force Asura Rage out of their base.
That is all well and good, but they're going to lose this Fangtooth. It's a free Fangtooth from the side of Asura's Rage. 2 inhibitors down, core at exactly 50% already, which means all they need is 1 push. With the way the core targets, they can just jump onto that and potentially clear it out very quickly. But they're going to recall, they're going to keep this gold lead that they've managed to accrue now for themselves, spend on their attribute points that they might not have spent, and upgrade any cards that they need, ready for this last fight.
It's just fun time for Asura Rage. That's basically all this is. We've got them taking the green buff out of the enemy team's jungle. They're just running, making sure they have their end game cards up, and it should be a pretty easy ending for them. Appy Picker, I mean, he's been basically the catalyst for a lot of things Asura Rage this match. Although Ian Hidalgo has been getting himself into a lot of aggression as well. Appy Picker getting a little bit blocked out by the Glacial Charge, but he seems to not care at all. Looks to go on to Malix. He needs the rest of his team to show up, and eventually they do. Ufel getting the Reckoning on the back end of the fight. Tesla Dump's going to come through. Beautiful shields, and then finally making it happen from Book Tinkerman. Nice seismic assault, though, on the 3, but the kills are just not coming in for the stack. Yuso Rude Dude over to the side. They're just going to have to watch Appy Picker and the rest of the Asura Rage make their way through the jungle. The minions will start to come through. Ufel isn't even dead yet. Now he finally falls. Aben about to die. Can he stay alive inside of his own jungle? He's supposed to have regen here, but he is indeed not the king of his own jungle. And Asura Rage will continue to find kill after kill after kill. 4 dead. The minions are just gonna win this game because that's what they do. 30%. This game is essentially over, ending it before Yuso Root Dude can even have a death here. So I guess they're saving him a little bit of pride, but unfortunately that will be the game as Asura Rage takes a 1-0 lead in this quarterfinal rather.
Yeah, really strong showing. I mean, the stack were looking really good at one point. They managed to get a fight with the deficit. However, when Yosuru just died there in that off lane, it completely allowed them to take that prime for free. They had 3 Flame of Zetchins as well, which meant there was no way Ivan was ever going to steal that away. And the second they got that prime, it was game done. They took the inhibitors and they took so many good, clean fights from it. And the stack really put themselves in a tough position. Now they have to win 2 games if they want to claw their way back into this.
Absolutely. It is rough for the stack, and of course it's been rough for them for a while playing off of their ping, but we definitely admire them making their way into the quarterfinals, and we'll see if they can come back in game number 2 of this quarterfinal best of 3. You know, I'm almost looking at these teams and these players, I'm saying they're a lot closer before. Granted that Team Oxygen aren't here, but even without them, I think our field is looking pretty good for the semifinals.
Yeah, Asura's Rage and the Stack are both pretty strong teams. The Stack obviously not too well known on the NA side, but they are strong, really strong players. They were holding up their own against Asura's Rage, and I'd really like to see them try claw back. They had, I thought, a really strong composition. They kind of just made a couple of mistakes here or there that ended up throwing the game completely against them. That wasn't needed.
And that's just the version 44 coming into play here. You make a couple mistakes, the team's going to take some Fangtooths, and then you're at a pretty big deficit. But with that being said, we are going to go to a quick break, I believe. Oh no, we do have another match. It's going to be game 2, the Stack versus the Asura Rage, but we'll take a break to set that up. So thanks for watching, guys. This is PCL number 11, and we'll be back in just a bit.